Hello YouTube, this is Sam, not Sammy33 today. Usually I love to have, fun, talking, poking fun at my average to subpar gameplay, but today is actually going to be a serious video. I don't get really, I don't do that very often on this channel. It's all about having fun. I enjoy video games, one of my favorite hobbies. But today is actually a serious day, and I should probably give it the reverence that it deserves. If you have been on Twitch lately, probably could tell I've been a little on edge. I usually am this time of year. Today would mark the 18th anniversary of my best friend Justin committing suicide, and it bothers me a lot when I have shades on, trying to, my eyes probably are watery right now. Try to hide that just a little bit. Want to be serious in this video. We'll get back to having fun, soon enough, but feel like depression and suicide is an important subject to touch on. It's very important to me. It's clearly important to the people that have been around me and that have been left behind. So I kind of wanted to start it. I wrote a letter to him 13, well, 5 years ago, so that'd be 13 years. And I wanted to read that and just kind of talk about my thoughts a little bit and I guess just go from there. Oh, hey Justin. I miss the times you would harass me in history class. I miss how you would go up to the Briargate IHOP with me because you were one of the few who could tolerate late night pancakes with me. I miss our frag sessions in SOCOM. I miss watching you skate at the park. I miss that stupid, goofy smile you always had when you saw me. I miss how you somehow always shadowed me like a mirror in football. Still do not get that one, honestly. Thing I miss the most is the trust. You were the first person I could ever be honest with. I'm very terrible with judging people, still am. I do not think I will ever be good at it. At a time when I needed validation, you were there. Cannot imagine how I would have survived high school without you. So much was going on in my head, and you were the crazy guy that was happy to be my outlet. No matter how much I worried or would get down on myself, you always picked me up, always told me. Strength and character. There's so much that I wish I could have shared with you. Sean and Mason have become amazing friends. You should see the crazy knuckleheads I met through SDSU. You would fit right in. The journey in itself is crazy. My nephew and niece probably would like you more than me. I just know that you would have liked surfing out here. Obviously referencing San Diego. Holy crap, my body is made out of glass. Surgeries, cortisone injections, dislocation ribs, etc. You'd get on me about my recklessness too. Yellow Card actually became more mainstream. Newfound Glory is still pumping out music too. Actually made it to 3, count them, 3 WrestleManias. Talked about how cool it would be to actually go just to 1. And The Undertaker's lost twice. Definitely should have been there for that first loss. This one kind of stings. You would like this Davis guy too. Everyone does. Well, not so much now. You would be laughing at this Laker mess. A little bit different 5 years ago. Somewhat better now. They've had a championship since. Even more that the Bucks still are bad. But hey, we've won a Super Bowl since then. Thanks, Tom. You always told me they were trash. You won that one. Still, he's mostly right. The Bucks have been trash for most of my life. Thankfully, I didn't mention the Sabres in here. That's real trash. Getting married next year. Well, that's not happening either. Again, eh. Remember how you would laugh yourself to tears over that since I could never be marriage material? You owe me a PlayStation game for taking the L there, but, well, I guess I owe him a PlayStation game. But there was a point. I thought this pain would eventually go away. I obviously know better. I would settle for the hurt dying down just a tad, and here I am, restless, crying, and frustrated like it is 2006 all over again. Survivor's guilt is a horrible thing. I will never stop feeling like I could have done more. That maybe I may have prevented it that day so you could get help. I wish our last chat was different. Maybe I should have left work when you called, or maybe if I saw the signs earlier, would have I found your journal? Ultimately, you not trusting me with your biggest secret. That still makes me mad. I hate that you felt that you couldn't trust me. 13 years of this. Still happens pretty often. The thoughts just make me feel bad. It feels like I'm just reliving a bad nightmare and it's stuck on repeat. Kind of feel guilty for not going to your grave recently, but I probably would have just had a nervous breakdown if I did. The negative energy would feel like a tidal wave. Unfortunately, I have the permanent reminder on my wrist. You're not going to be able to see that, but I do. Uh, but hey, the other hand has the wristbands that Mason and the group got me. Memorable lyrics and your favorite line. Still keep your note in my wallet. Deaths too. Good or bad times, you're not too far from my thoughts. I've read it so much, it is memorized. So much more I want to say, but it's been almost 3 hours now. The sun is up, and Davis has been watching me like a hawk. Sucks to get zero sleep too, but at least he got some deadline stuff done early. I wish I could have all positive energy when this day comes. I want to just remember the good times and laugh. Glow with some crying too. I really have grown to hate the conflicting feelings though. I want to be grateful for the massive impact you have had on my life. I hate having to share those thoughts with a constant barrage of what ifs. That said, I needed to get this out. You probably are sitting next to me while I type this, feeling bad. Don't. I have enough tears for the both of us. Going to grab my earbuds and listen to some of your favorite songs. The music will hopefully make the last 18 hours of this day tolerable. I will try my hardest not to be insufferable. Just do know that I miss the hell out of you and always will. Feeling complete is impossible. That hole will always exist, but I make the best of it. You would want that. Your best friend, Sam. Well, that's the letter that I wrote to him one night because I just kind of consumed their thoughts, and I'll just kind of read my reaction, like my immediate like kind of reaction on that, and then I'll expand on that. Um, 13 years ago on this day, my best friend took his life. It broke me. Thought that Andrew's death had did that. The prior year, I was a mess, but Justin pulled me through. Only he knew why it hurt so bad. I had a ton of missteps and sort of had to find myself again. I left a sudden void in my life, and I didn't know how to deal with it. To be honest, neither did he. My best friend walked the path step for step with me. He never let me fall. He picked me up when I needed it. He was a shoulder when I needed it. When my willpower was fading, he pulled me through. If you believe in angels, he was a real life guardian angel. I don't think I would have made it through that time in the manner that I did. Death changes everyone, but he kept me from becoming the bitter person I was becoming. And then he took his own life. In his journal that I would later find, I saw the reason why that made it hurt even more. I was a breaking point. It clearly was not the same. In the immediate future, I felt lost. I felt betrayed and empty. I felt inadequate. I felt hurt, unlike anything else. What were his last thoughts? Why couldn't I do more? Those thoughts just consume you, and I remember the initial end result of that. I had work that morning. I didn't go. I raided every medicine jar in my parents' house, grabbed damn near every pill I could find, bagged them and drove off to a secluded place. Someone would eventually find me later. That was the plan. I just felt that I had failed. I didn't deserve to be here anymore, and I just didn't feel the need to be. Oh, it's really tough to read this, let me tell you. It was the first time I ever felt truly alone in life, but as fate would have it, I forgot to turn my cell phone off. And Andrew's brother called me worried because he was in town and just happened to stop by my job and ask for me that day. No one had heard from me. No call, no showed. And he got worried. He talked me off the ledge. I drove back and talked to my dad, told him I need help. Still feel bad thinking about that moment, not because I felt so weak and powerless, just the look on his face and later my mother's. When they realized that I was beyond their help, they didn't know what to do, I didn't know what to do. And thus counseling begun. It was a godsend. I hated it at first, but over time I was able to open up and take baby steps in the world. The eventual return to work was jarring, but everyone was super supportive and gave me space. I was able to work towards getting back into school and getting out of Colorado. I needed a fresh start. The constant reminders got me from time to time. And San Diego would be a good thing too. I originally wanted to be a game programmer, and that was what I started out to do. I have my associates in computer science. I would consider his death easily the biggest life-altering event I'm going to have, so I took the time to really think about me. Psychology, career change was born from it. At the core, I wanted to honor him by giving back to the world what he gave to us, help and serving others. He was selfless to a fault. Maybe along the way I could gain some peace and possibly even closure. Never happened. My first year at State was rocky. A totally new beginning as some of those insecurities started to creep up. I didn't have a hard time making friends, but also didn't have that calming presence beside me to shut off the bad thoughts or keep me from running back to my show. But I made it through. Made some awesome friends along the way. Ashley, Chris, and Mason. My roommate's pretty cool, Mr. Will. But unfortunately for him, he saw the bad side of me because I couldn't block it out. Suicidal thoughts crept back, but I was able to fend them off. The second year is great, but the third would definitely be the best. At the end of the second year, I met Marcus through playing basketball. Someone that actually knew sports. new in caps because, yeah, he's a pretty smart kid. And was just so smart, wise beyond his years, saw a lot of Justin in him, and that friendship blossomed pretty fast. I'd gotten an internship working with young kids, was really back to enjoying life, but even then I still couldn't shake the S word. Span of a few months, two of my friends back home committed suicide. Warren because his parents disowned him for being gay, Rex because the rest of our friends in that circle showered him with blame. Funerals were hard to sit through. So many bad thoughts running through my head, and they won out. September 2014, I had a really bad day. Really bad argument with Marcus, which was my fault, and also with Chris, which was also my fault, and just left me in my room feeling alone, and feeling how I felt back in 2006. I was just reflecting and felt that same emptiness again. None of my roommates were home, so an unfortunate perfect storm of negativity started to brew. Ashley was popping by before her date with her now husband. She's super excited. She just needed calming words from one of her best friends before meeting Derek. She definitely didn't deserve to see what she did that day. If not for her date, I would most definitely not be here. That feeling at the hospital was very underwhelming. I was highly emotional, mad that I failed again, mad that I was forced to still be stuck here. I couldn't escape. No one will let me. It wasn't even looks of disappointments, it was looks of shock. The leader of the group was broken. I'd helped Chris do one of the worst breakups I'd ever seen on this planet. Watched him lose his best friend, help Ashley through her parents going through a nasty divorce. Mason always said I was a doctor without a degree, and how I could talk to others in their time of need. Marcus needed venting, a reason I won't get into, and all the other problems my friends are going through, I was there for them. First in line, as always. Yet there I was lying in bed, unable to be helped, yet again. The rest of that semester was rough, for reasons I don't feel like putting here. We did have I don't want to read that. That is kind of just hurts. Ugh. Yeah, going back to these memories kind of hurts. I broke off my friendship with Marcus. We did have a nice long talk post attempt, though. His disappointment hurt, not because I attempted, disappointed because he felt I couldn't talk to him. I think that resonated with me. It was the same feeling Justin had with me. Those words really stood out at a time where I was still trying to scrap things back together. My friends rallied around me. They collectively pulled me through. I tried on my own, but I wasn't strong enough. Antidepressants became a thing. I can say 5 years later that they have made a big difference and made life a little easier to manage. I'm not on them now, but it's definitely helpful at that time. The low still gets to me at times, but I tend to be able to pull myself out before I get too far down that rabbit hole. Even now in 2019, I still am advised by my doctor to take them, and they have worked for me. I don't take them now, I don't need to. Chris committed suicide back in 2015. That was jarring for all of us. Truth be told, I couldn't grieve too much because I had to be strong to help guide the rest of my friends through the murky waters. Came out as best we could. And that's really all you can do. I don't think you ever really move on and get over death. I think that's really, really true. That's something I've really learned over the last 10 years or so. I think you come out of things different on the other side and do the best you can. It took me a really long time to realize that. Which brings me back to Justin. What he didn't want to tell me was that he was gay and that he liked me. His mother still doesn't notice. I don't tell her. It's something that Justin told me that he wanted to keep between us, and I respect that, even though I'm putting it on YouTube. But he didn't want his mom to know, so I didn't tell his mom. Neither would have bothered me. He knew that. He wrote as much. But he was so stuck in his insecurities, he talked himself into that mindset, and I don't blame him. He was going to church every week, would catch the undertones here and there, that who he really was as a person was invalidated. He didn't feel he could tell his mom because she would just go on and on about how much he was looking forward to her giving her grandchildren. I could see how he felt like everywhere he looked the world pushed back. I just wish we could have had that talk. I don't know how it goes, but I do know that I would have stood by him regardless, just like he did for me. I tell you, I would have missed a lot. I'm talking about me. if I would have actually been successful. I enjoy playing video games with my nephew. I still enjoy watching WWE even when it gets silly at times. My mom would have never been the same after I was gone, especially in that manner. Sean has two kids, well now three, who I never would have seen. I also never would have seen Mason's son or Ashley's daughter either. Now they have multiple kids. Never would have met Corey or Davis or had the chance to impact so many people through volunteer work. Wrestling, Twitch, ex-coworkers are all filled with awesome people. I would have missed out because I cheated myself. My biggest regret in life will always be that missing conversation with Justin. I don't know how my life changes after that. I don't even care. Every good thing that I've experienced in San Diego or since that date, I would trade away to bring it back. It isn't fair to the people I've met since, but I would give anything to have that chance. Though it is extremely hard at times, at the center of my heart, am thankful beyond words for the time I was able to know Justin. My life would have never been the same without him. Death generally gives us closure and finality. Suicide never does. There are always unanswered questions, and that is what makes it hard. We blame ourselves for not seeing it. We fault ourselves for not being good enough for those who need it. Continuing on is hard. Hard because the rest of our life can feel like it is incomplete. These new memories should have you in them. It just doesn't feel right. Every day is a new opportunity and you took it from yourself. We bear the guilt though you tell us not to. I'm a weird case in this instance because I got to be on the fence. I probably shouldn't be here myself. And I can say, looking back, that I would have cheated myself. The people that I've met and the people that I've yet to. Every single day is a chance for it to get better. That is not BS. I speak from experience, both personally and through watching others. It is the truth. It gets better. Maybe not as soon as you would like, maybe not in the manner that you like. People care. The people around you now, if not them, people that you'll meet in the future. Taking that chance away from yourself, the now can be so overwhelming at times, and I get that stepping outside of that can be tough when it seems like everything is against you. Tomorrow's a new opportunity. Just give it a chance. It didn't feel that way when I laid in the hospital bed back in September of 2014. I can look at my arm now and see the scar. I hate the reminder and the feelings they can elicit, but I'm happy to still be here. I owe it to Justin and myself to make the best out of my time here. If he can't be here, I'll do double the work to make him proud. And that's kind of what my thoughts were after I wrote that letter. So this video, and I say all this to say, obviously it still greatly bothers me. If that's not been obvious the last couple of days to, people around me, people in the stream, people at work, it's hard to not really get by that. At times it's still very frustrating. I still get very angry because I feel like it's not fair that he's not here. But at other times I'm sad because I feel that I wasn't able to do enough, even though I know it's clearly not my fault. But I'll never be able to shake the feeling that I wish that I could have done more. I'm always going to feel that way. That's never going to change. When I'm 50, when I'm 75, if I live long enough to be 90, it's never going to change. I'm always going to feel that way. Is it fair to me? No. But when you're a perfectionist and you expect the best out of yourself at all times, you feel like you can solve every problem. You feel like that there's always a solution. You just have to work hard enough to find it. And it's hard to say that is something out of your control, and it's not your decision to make, unfortunately. Still hurts a lot. It still hurts a lot. But I have learned a couple of things from this, and I wanted to be serious and make a video to share. First of all, above all else, the people that are around you, the people that matter to you, the people that you care about and that care about you, express it. Tell them that you love them. Let them know that you're there for them. Sometimes you have no idea what kind of effect that will have. You never know what people are going through. You never know what's going on in people's heads. It's, oh, you have no idea what kind of impact that could have on somebody when they're in a bad moment. It's number one. Number two, if you ever feel down, if you ever feel overwhelmed, just know that there are people out there that do care about you and that things will get better. As I said before, it may not be as soon as you want, it may not be in the matter that you want. It always gets better. Life is a roller coaster. Everyone agrees on, no matter what your background is, no matter your personality, whatever, everyone has their ups and downs. It always gets better. The good times never last as long as you want them to. The bad times, unfortunately, last probably longer than you want them. But that is life. It's always going to get better. Just, you have to have the mindset that when things are not going well, I talked about this on stream last night, when things are not going well, to be able to find something positive and take that and build on it. Perfect example, I'm playing baseball last night. I was pretty terrible at certain points. It's like, you know what? Let's focus on the swings. I am struggling right now. I can't hit for crap, but you know what? If I keep putting good swings on the ball, that's something. Ultimately, that's going to turn into good results. Then you start hitting the ball well. Then you start hitting home runs. You start hitting the ball in the gap. Things get better. Maybe you're still not winning games, but you're seeing the progress. You're seeing that you're taking those steps in order to get to the goal, in order to pull yourself out of this hole that you're in. I think that's something that we forget a lot of times as humans. It's so easy, especially with social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you follow, the news, mainstream media. It's so easy to just let the world beat you down and to just embrace all the toxicity and the negativity around you. Focus on something positive. Focus on something that's going well. Focus on the good people that you have in your life. Focus on what you're trying to do for yourself and what you're trying to do for others. And ultimately, let that be your focus. Things get better. Three, I really hate survivor's guilt. It's a real thing. Um, it just kind of sucks because I feel like if in most cases, not all, but in most cases when someone dies, there's that closure. You have that time to process your thoughts as it's happening, before it's happening, and then when it happens, you're more at peace. You're still hurting, of course, but you're more at peace because you feel like almost like a storybook. It's had a proper ending. You can close the book. You always keep the book close to your chest, but it has an ending. With suicide, I feel like it's a book that never finishes. There's just a bunch of blank pages. You know there's stuff that's supposed to go there. You never get the opportunity for it to be finished. You're always going to wonder what if. And survivor's guilt really sucks because you're always going to feel like you should have been able to do more. It does not matter the scenario. It never does. Let me tell you. I have had to watch multiple people in my life commit suicide. Obviously, no one's hurt more than Justin's, but it never changes the fact that I'm just sit up late at night like, man, if I would have had this conversation, what if I would have said this? What if we would have actually hung out a couple of days before? Might I have been able to see that he wasn't himself? Might I have been able to see some of these signs? Can't help but feel that. Even though it's going to sound extremely hypocritical because it's clearly still bothering me and it's going to probably bother me forever, it's really hard for me to say it and also acknowledge it, but survivor's guilt, it's not your fault. If you're someone watching this video and you have lost someone close to you in this manner, it's not your fault. Just know that. You, as a friend, as someone that cares, have had a huge impact in this person's life. It's their decision, unfortunately. It ends in the way that it does. but know that it is not your fault. Again, I know this. I tell myself this. I don't need anyone else to tell me because I already know it myself. It still doesn't change the fact that I will always feel guilty. So take that, I guess, take that as you will. And lastly, as someone that has gone through two major bouts of depression, which obviously led me down a road that I really probably don't want to get too much into. Um, if you ever feel that down, talk to someone, a stranger, call the suicide hotline, talk to a counselor if you're in school, talk to a professor, talk to someone that can get, someone that you can just get everything off of your chest, off of your heart, off your shoulders, get it out, and then go from there. There's always someone willing to listen. There's always someone willing to help. You don't have to go through things alone, ever. Even if you feel like there's no one else there for you, there always is. There's always someone that can help you. Always. I look at my wrist, no matter how much I've tried to kind of get rid of it, I'm not going to show it on stream or on this camera, on this video, but I still have the scar there. I can always look at it and know how I felt in that moment. Sometimes I can admit that it's a little overwhelming, but also know it's temporary. I would have missed out on a lot of things. I'm 38 now. I was 28 when I attempted the last time, and thankfully I was unsuccessful. Didn't feel that way in the moment, but look at what's happened since then. Yeah, I mean, I was engaged, but whatever. I'm not now. But that's a relationship of what, 5 years that I would have lost out on. Do I regret that? No. I mean, it didn't end well. Obviously, I wish it didn't have to be that way, but I missed out on a lot. I missed out on meeting some really great people. Um, I missed out on being able to share memories with my friends. Mason got married, and I was the best man at his wedding. I've been able to wrestle for, no, over 10 years, being able to do something I'm super passionate about. I've been able to travel around the country doing wrestling. I've been able to see places I wanted to see. I've been able to go to New York. I've been to WrestleMania. I've been to Hawaii. I get to watch my niece and nephew grow up now that I live in Colorado. I've just, I mean, I could do probably without having the billion injuries. But other than that, like, I've met great people at my job now. Nick, Ramsey, Kendra, Jaime, Sammy. I've met some really cool people at my job. I've had some cool neighbors. People on Twitch. Obviously, most of the people that will probably end up watching this video are people that are on the Twitch channel. Get to talk to you guys every day about sports. Get to talk to you about life. These are conversations that I miss out on TwitchCon. Jugsy, Smog, Slick, Day, Aaron, Chris, guys that I never would have been able to meet, have a conversation with. That bond that we have on the internet, being able to share it and, be able to experience it in real life, wouldn't have been able to do that if I had, if I wasn't here. So, say all this to say, I hate this day. May 10th will always be a day that will put me in a bad mood, literally no matter what is going on. But I'm still here. I still plan on being here, and I plan on making the best of it, not just for myself, but for him. While I'll still think about a lot of stuff, while I will still think about the impact that he's had on my life and others around me, it just lets me know that the way that he impacted me, I would be able to impact other people. And if that's the mark that I leave on this world, when my time truly does come, I'm content with that. But I'm in no rush to make that time come any faster. I just wish that he was still here, because there's a lot that he missed out on. I know there still would have been some pretty awesome memories that we would have been able to share. And I just feel like no matter how things go in life, whether they're super good, super bad, I'll just always feel bad, because I feel like it just isn't going to be the same, you know? It's just not going to be the same. He should be here too. And I'll never stop feeling that way. It'll never change. That hole, my heart will always be there. But like I said, I'll make the best of it. I just know that life would be better if he was here.